Top 1. Nestle. Nestle is the biggest food company in the world by far, with thousands of brands that sell everything from bottled water to pet food to chocolate. It is nearly impossible to find a grocery store around the world without a Nestle product. The company's founder, Henry Nestle, actually started out by selling one of the first baby foods ever in 1867. The lack of baby foods was a huge problem at the time, and his invention likely saved thousands of babies' lives in the late 1800s. Nestle also helped create the first milk chocolate in 1875 and invented what would become their most profitable product during World War II, Nescafe. This instant coffee gave soldiers a quick, lightweight, and long-lasting caffeine boost, and the U.S. Army bought tons of it. Today, they own over 2,000 brands, and their baby food division is still one of their biggest moneymakers. The company has gotten into several controversies over the years. They have been accused of unethically promoting baby formula in poor countries, relying on suppliers that use child labor, and overexploiting water resources for bottled water production. Nestle's logo of a bird in a nest comes from Henry Nestle's family name, which means little nest in German. Top 2. PepsiCo. PepsiCo owns over 500 brands worldwide, with 23 of them making over $1 billion a year in sales. The first product was called the Pepsi Cola drink, invented in 1898 by Caleb Bradham in his pharmacy. As the drink became popular in his state, Bradham founded the Pepsi Cola Company in 1902 and began expanding nationwide. Bradham lost the company after World War I because he speculated on sugar prices, which skyrocketed and then collapsed, leaving him in heavy debt and forcing him to sell the Pepsi Cola trademark and assets. After a bunch of bankruptcies and failed revival attempts, businessman Charles Guth managed to save the company with a new formula, smart pricing, and aggressive marketing. By the 1940s, it re-established itself as Coca-Cola's main rival. But PepsiCo, as we know it today, was only created after they merged with snack giant Frito-Lay in 1965 and developed over years into one of the biggest food companies in the world. Top 3. Unilever. During the Great Depression, British soap makers Lever Brothers merged with a Dutch margarine company called Margarine Unie, since both relied heavily on palm oil for their products, and merging helped them secure supply and survive the economic crisis. The new company, Unilever, became a top consumer goods company in a few decades and is today one of the biggest in the world, with over 400 brands that range from foods like Ben & Jerry's and Skippy to personal care brands like Dove and Axe. They sell nearly a quarter of all the ice cream in the world, branded with a heart-shaped logo and the original name of the product. In 2000, the British government accused Unilever of anti-competitive behavior for supplying retailers with branded freezers on the condition they only stock Unilever ice cream. They were also fined in 2002 for price fixing with other companies in the cleaning products market. Kraft Heinz actually tried to take over Unilever in 2017, but their offer was rejected. Top 4. General Mills. General Mills began as a single flour mill in Minnesota, powered by the Mississippi River's water in 1866. A few years later, the owner, Cadwallader Washburn, built a bigger one, the Washburn A Mill, which became the largest flour mill in the world at the time. In 1928, a group of milling and food companies merged to form General Mills, which expanded far beyond flour. They created iconic brands like Wheaties, Lucky Charms, and Betty Crocker, and later acquired Yoplait, Old El Paso, and Nature Valley. They also launched Cheerios in 1941, but changed the name to Cheerios after Quaker Oats sued them over the use of the word oats. During World War II, the company actually established an aeronautical research division to support the U.S. war effort. They helped build aerial torpedoes, spy balloons, machine parts, and gun sights, and even contributed to early satellite and space research after the war. Today, General Mills markets hundreds of brands with a focus on cereals, snacks, and packaged foods. With over 35,000 employees worldwide, the company generates around $20 billion a year in revenue. Top 5. Coca-Cola Company. The Coca-Cola Company sells over 1.9 billion drinks every day in more than 200 countries and owns a massive portfolio of sodas, juices, teas, waters, and energy drinks. It is the leading company in non-alcoholic beverages worldwide with about 46% of the market. The company was founded by pharmacist John Pemberton, who created the Coca-Cola drink and was later bought by businessman Asa Candler, who popularized it across the United States. The company became very famous during World War II by building 64 portable bottling plants in combat zones across the world and promising to give American soldiers bottles of Coke wherever they were stationed. At the same time, Coca-Cola's German branch continued operating under Nazi rule and created an alternative drink called Fanta due to syrup shortages. Coca-Cola executives also entered a still-honored handshake agreement with Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, that all McDonald's would offer Coca-Cola products exclusively. The company also owns a big part of Monster Energy and the second largest coffee chain in the world behind Starbucks, Costa Coffee. They also used to own wine brands in the 80s but sold them off. Top 6. Kellanova. Kellanova, formerly known as Kellogg's, is a leader in the snacks and frozen foods markets, marketing brands like Pringles, Pop-Tarts, Cheez-It, Eggo waffles, and Rice Krispies treats, plus plant-based lines like Morningstar Farms and Incogmeato. They also sell well-known cereals like Corn Flakes, Frosties, and Cocoa Pops outside of North America. Kellanova was actually created in 2023 when the famous Kellogg Company split into two parts. One part, called WK Kellogg Co., kept the cereal brands in North America, and the other part became Kellanova and took over snacks as well as international cereal sales. Top 7. Mars. Mars is still a 100% family-owned private company, even though it is one of the largest in the world. It is owned by the Mars family, the third richest family in the United States, known for staying private and keeping a very low profile. Franklin Clarence Mars founded the Mars Company in 1911, but struggled until his son, Forrest Mars Sr., suggested making a candy bar that tasted like a chocolate malted milkshake. He took his son's advice and went on to create his best-selling candy ever, the Milky Way. The huge success of this candy bar funded new factories, which led to famous creations like Snickers and Three Musketeers, and pushed Mars into global expansion. Future generations of the family grew the company into a food giant, which today controls about 11% of the entire global confectionery market, owns over 50 pet food brands, and runs thousands of pet clinics worldwide under its Mars Veterinary Health Division. Mars faced criticism for using child labor on cocoa farms, especially in Africa. They have also been blamed for selling foods with too much sugar and for using suppliers who damage rainforests to grow palm oil. Some people say Mars does not do enough to protect the environment or workers. Top 8. Danone. Isaac Carasso lived in Barcelona in the 1910s and noticed that many Spanish children suffered from stomach problems. Aware of research into lactic ferments by Nobel Prize winner Ilya Mechnikov, Isaac decided to introduce a product known in the Balkans for its health benefits, yogurt. He launched the Danone brand in 1919, named after his son Daniel, whose nickname was Dannon. A century later, Danone became a global food giant. It now controls nearly 80% of the U.S. plant milk market, owns some of the world's largest bottled water brands like Evian, Volvic, and Badoit, and is also known for its yogurts like Activia, Actimel, and Danone. It is the fourth largest dairy company in the world and also owns brands focused on medical nutrition, often sold under Nutricia for hospital patients, cancer care, and chronic illnesses. Danone employs over 90,000 people and earns about $28 billion, which is also around $30 billion in yearly revenue. Top 9. Tyson Foods. Tyson Foods is the largest meat company in America and the world's second largest processor and a marketer of chicken, beef, and pork. It was founded in 1935 during the Great Depression by John W. Tyson, who started by hauling chickens across the U.S. to sell them for better prices. Today, Tyson supplies meats to places like McDonald's and Walmart and owns brands like Tyson, Jimmy Dean, Hillshire Farm, and Ballpark. It processes millions of animals per week and makes over $50 billion in yearly revenue. The company faced many controversies, including criticism for animal cruelty, unsafe working conditions, and being one of the biggest polluters in the U.S. meat industry. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Tyson was also called out for putting workers at risk in crowded meat plants. They also run a lab called Tyson Ventures to invest in plant-based meats, robot chefs, and future food tech. Top 10. Mondelez International. The snack giant Mondelez started in 2012 when Kraft Foods split into two companies. Mondelez kept ownership of snack brands like Oreo, Milka, Cadbury, Toblerone, Sour Patch Kids, and Ritz. They are now one of the biggest snack makers in the world and also produce coffee brands like Jacobs and Tassimo, as well as chewing gum like Trident. Mondelez was involved in many controversies and was actually sued in California for polluting oceans and land with single-use plastic wrappers from brands like Oreo and Ritz. In 2021, the company was fined $337 million in Europe for anti-competitive behavior, and it has also been criticized for helping to cause deforestation by using palm oil from harmful suppliers. Top 11. Kraft Heinz Company. The Kraft Heinz Company was formed out of two food giants, Kraft Foods and Heinz. They merged in 2015 into one of the biggest food companies in the world, selling over 200 brands in more than 190 countries. Some of their top brands are Heinz Kraft, Oscar Mayer, Philadelphia, Cream Cheese, Capri Sun, and Lunchables. They own the #1 ketchup brand in the world, Heinz, which sells over 650 million bottles a year and dominates the ketchup market in many countries. Both Kraft and Heinz were started over 150 years ago, and their merger was backed by Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway and 3G Capital, making it one of the largest food deals in history. Top 12. Ferrero Group. The Italian chocolate giant Ferrero International was actually founded due to a chocolate shortage during World War II in Italy. The war made cocoa very rare in the country, so chocolate maker Pietro Ferrero mixed in cheap hazelnuts and created a softer chocolate spread called pasta gianduja. This spread later became Nutella under the leadership of his son, Michel Ferrero, who drove tremendous growth for the business and went on to invent Kinder Chocolates and Ferrero Rocher. Michel Ferrero turned the company into a global business while keeping it family-owned and highly secretive. Today, the company owns more popular brands like Tic Tac, Raffaello, and Kinder Surprise, and expanded further in recent years by buying snack brands like Butterfinger, Crunch, and Keebler. Ferrero is the third largest chocolate company in the world and is especially popular in Europe and Latin America. Top 13. Cargill. Cargill, the largest private food company in the world, was founded in 1865 by William Cargill as a small grain storage business. Over time, it grew into a global food and agriculture giant. The company is a key supplier of ingredients and raw foods to companies like McDonald's, Nestle, and Coca-Cola. Cargill sells more cocoa than almost any other company on earth, providing it to giants like Mondelez, Ferrero, Hershey, and Mars. It is also one of the largest meat processors in the U.S., supplying countless ingredients to restaurants around the world. Cargill was accused and investigated for many controversies over the years, including forced labor, price manipulation, and pollution of rivers. It has also been criticized for refusing to sign an agreement to stop buying products linked to deforestation. If this deep dive into the giants that feed the world changed how you look at the products in your pantry, make sure to subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the corporate histories and hidden empires that shape our daily lives. Join us as we dig deeper into the forces behind the global economy. The next investigation will be revealed soon.